So the question is, will we be seeing some staffing changes in the White House next year? Because we have some news on that. Look at this from Fox News. It's a girl. White House Press Secretary Karen Levitt and her husband Nick are expecting their second bundle of joy, a baby girl due in May 2026, so May of next year. Karen Levitt told Fox News, "My heart is overflowing with gratitude to God for the blessing of motherhood, which I truly believe is the closest thing to heaven on earth." And there's Karen Levitt there. She's 28. I think her husband's like 60, something like that. And I don't think he's poor, so I don't think she needs to work, but I never know their particular situation. But I'll just say this. White House press secretaries don't tend to last very long under Trump. I was looking at the list here. This is the first time around. Sean Spicer was about 6 months. Sarah Huckabee Sanders, a year and 9 months. Stephanie Grisham, about 9 months. And Kayleigh McEnany, about 9.5 months. So the idea that Karen Levitt, who's due, all right, to give birth in May 2026, so, May next year, would stick around in this high-stress job, I just don't see it happening. Now, I've heard a couple different things on this. Fox News, they were saying if she sticks around, which I guess one official says she would be the first White House press secretary in history to be pregnant. Usually if that does happen, I think you would leave. I think any person would do that. That's why I said it's so historically people leave under Trump for this kind of job. It's just a high stress job. Just imagine having to lie every day. And being pregnant, it's enough stress in itself. I'm not saying that you can't work, but I'm saying this particular job is a high stress job. I don't see it, but yeah, and it would be the first in history. So usually people don't do this kind of thing. And I'd be curious your guys' thoughts on this one. I was thinking there's other ways you could play this also. So one would be she's pregnant, she leaves, and they say, okay, we're not going to hire someone else. And so therefore, all press events are canceled. I could totally see that happening, right? I mean, that wouldn't that kind of fit what they would do, because they don't want to take questions anyway. They don't want any transparency anyway. So, maybe this is all part of the plan that she'll announce, hey, I'm pregnant and I care about kids and I care about families, and therefore I'm gonna take some time off. But I'll be back, I promise. And so will the press things. Then maybe they never come back. That's a world we could live in. Or they're saying that she's going to stick around because they can't find a replacement, because people look at her job like, man, I don't want that job. Now I think there's always someone going to be out there that will do it. It doesn't mean they're going to be any good, but I just said I think there's always someone out there. But we'll see. So my bet on is that she's leaving, and this will be an interesting drama. If she, so let's say, for example, if she's pregnant, she stays in the job, she could also play the game of like, oh, I'm pregnant. Why are you asking me these tough questions? I need to take care of my kid. And you know how the White House plays these games. So there's that. This is also an interesting news. This is a headline from the Daily Beast. They say Trump has installed an attorney and part-time beauty salon owner to decide which foreigners are allowed to enter the U.S. So this is the kind of people that Trump likes. There's always someone who will fill that kind of role. So there's that. And then you got Trump. This is from the White House today. He's posing with his plane, America First. I guess he got a big 250 on there. Hey, at least that's not his name. And he's got a bunch of gold on his desk. What's the heck's that thing on the left of the plane? It's like gold bars or something. And he's got like gold coasters and a gold eagle behind him. And I guess the plan is to get as much gold as possible. And before he was tweeting off about Epstein this, Epstein that, for reals. If you want to read the whole thing, you can. He's also lately putting his name on buildings. There may even be more than I even know about, because there's a lot of buildings out there, and there's a lot of things that he wants to put his name on. It says here, renaming the Donald J. Trump United States Institute of Peace, okay? That's from the Department of State, and they're saying that Trump has ushered a new era of peace through strength. So basically, he's going to keep bombing people and attacking until he wins a peace prize. I guess that's the plan. He's also saying here, U.S. economic growth is outpacing the world because of President J. Trump. And PJ Media, I don't even know what that is. to be frank. And that's what they'll do that a lot. They'll just pick friends of theirs. Hey, write something nice about us, and we'll put it there. I don't even know what PJ Media is, but I guess you're all rich. This is something I want to go over. It's pretty interesting. This person had a good post and a graph that sort of describes the situation that we're in with the Trumpers. From Shanaka says, the economy isn't broken. Okay. It's working exactly as designed. You were told GDP growth equals prosperity, right? And that's what the Trump people, I think they were bragging. Hey, everyone, it's 4.3 GDP. You're all doing fantastic. You're all rich, trillions and trillion dollars, golden age, that stuff, right? Here's the 2025 reality. Oh, okay. 4.3 GDP growth, 166 billion in corporate profits, 4.6% unemployment, 0% real income growth. The economy grew, you didn't. And I think this is a good point, right? The economy is growing, you didn't. And I told you guys about this stuff before, the K-shaped economy, right? So the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer. I've also mentioned, if you want to talk about it, you could call it a T-shaped economy where the rich have everything and everyone else is going down. But yeah, that's a good way to put it. The economy grew, you didn't. This isn't a bug. This is a feature. 20th century ran on a deal. Your labor equals their profit equals your paycheck, right? That deal is over. And so this is sort of, and I think you guys know this stuff, but it's always good to go over these things because the idea is you work for a company who's, essentially reaping the profits. And it's a big problem that a lot of workers have is just not getting paid enough to keep up with the cost of everything. You guys know this, everything's expensive. That deal is over. Productivity now routes around workers. AI handles the tasks. Shareholders collect the gains. You compete for what's left, right? This really captures everything that we're in right now. KPMG's chief economist on this data. I've never seen anything like it. 40% of employers are planning AI workforce cuts. Some of these numbers, I've seen different numbers on that, but I'll just say yes, many employers are considering that. Entry-level hiring in AI-exposed jobs down 13%. I've seen different numbers on that, but the general sentiment is right. I've heard that say people coming out of college or stuff like that are having a tougher time finding jobs because AI can do the simpler tasks. You can automate things, but the problem is that young people, then it's going to be really hard for them to get any experience going forward, right? The Fed is cutting rates into a boom. I'm not sure what he's talking about there because what are we booming? Referring to AI, maybe, I guess. Why? Because they know what the headlines won't tell you. The jobs aren't coming back. Oh, okay. Because basically what it is that Trump keeps telling you how you're rich all the time, right? And when the Fed cut rates, they have to think about a couple of things, right? One, are we more worried about unemployment or are we more worried about inflation? So I keep thinking it's all going to be about jobs. I think the Fed thinks the same thing as well. So that means that they're basically saying Trump is lying to you and we have to cut because the economy is weak. So it's not a great thing to cut in terms of like, God, things are really terrible out there. We need to get people borrowing again in order that they hire. Not that necessarily borrowing is always the answer, but I get the point that he's trying to say. Because the headline won't tell you, right? The jobs aren't coming back. The growth doesn't need you. The system isn't broken. It evolved past you, okay? By 2027, jobless growth won't be an anomaly. It will be the model. The golden age is real. It's just not yours. And this is the chart that this gentleman had here. It's called he says the great decoupling. GDP and profit surge while wages and jobs stagnate. And if you look at the chart there, the dotted line then is your corporate profits, right? So you can just kind of see it go up here, right? So corporate profits are going up. GDP goes up and down, right? But the point being, though, is that corporate profits and GDP rising in this chart, and then your real wages and jobs going down. So that's the disconnect, or you can call it a decoupling. And it's important to track this stuff because I told you guys the same thing. Regardless of what the numbers say, so those would be national numbers, the easiest way to think about it is say, hey, Elon Musk is buying a new yacht, or maybe he's going to buy a space station or whatever, crazy thing that he wants to do. And will you actually benefit if he does said things, right? And then worse, if people like say Elon Musk wants to buy whatever space station or whatever, and then let's say the space station is completely broken, money disappears, the thing falls from the atmosphere, so then we waste all these resources on the space station. But yeah, the GDP looked great. right? But does the regular person benefit from that kind of thing? So that's why I wanted to show this to you all, and also, talk about how the games that the Trump and the White House can play, say with Karen Levitt's job and her pregnancy. As I mentioned, there's a high chance they could cancel a bunch of press events, etc., or she'll be like, I'm not taking any questions because I'm pregnant. I gotta, got more important things to do. They'll play games like that. So that's what's going on, and I want to hear your thoughts. And always appreciate your time, and I'll catch you on the next video.